Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's realistic review in which we are taking a look at the P-51H-5 North American, the 6.3 battle rating top tier Mustang in the American line. And as we know, the Mustangs are faced with the problem of the rudder that is often making this plane turn off center and thus pulling it off shot as you come into the high speed dives on targets that are below you. But this plane has renewed control surfaces made of aluminium, and that apparently solves the problem in real life, and it also solves the problem mostly in game. It does roll off center, but much later than the other Mustangs. It only starts above 750 and then only slightly. So the whole, pulling off center when you go fast while rolling to adjust your shot at the end, that's more or less gone. And that's a good thing, because you can actually get the guns on target in this plane without too much effort in those situations, which is a breath of fresh air. Now, what is not a breath of fresh air is the fact that, of course, we've been flying this battle rating and around for a while now, and you have the JU-288 spam that is loose on this battle rating, and often the 6-man matches. This plane also suffers from that situation, and often you will be facing 4 JU-288s with a couple of fighters involved then, and that will be your battle. So you will be attacking bombers a lot. Now, thank God I have a tutorial on that, how you need to do that. Keep the plane quick, be focused, hit one wing if it's a big one, and otherwise go for the pilots. But man, this plane is fantastic. I mean, if you take all of those things out of the situation, this plane is absolutely fantastic. It shines, and it is a absolute joy to fly. It is a great energy fighter, great performance, and she can boom and zoom. She has close air support options. It is just very, very fun to fly this plane. Almost nothing to complain about in this plane, to be honest. Before we go into the details on the P-51H, do make sure to give the video a like, leave me a comment, share the video, and of course subscribe if you haven't done that yet. There's a lot more content on the way, and if you are enjoying it, do make sure to not miss anything that way. Also, make sure to check the links in the description box, especially of my locals account, my Discord channel, and the Rumble account. The Discord is open to you guys since a month or so, and a lot of you guys have already joined. I'm often flying with people, so you will get opportunity to talk with me, fly with me, have fun together, and all that jazz when you join my Discord. Okay, so the plane, man, the maximum speed in a straight line at sea level is 598 kilometers an hour, with WEP 665. At 4,500 meters, she can take you to 555 without WEP, 585 with, and finally at 6,500 meters you can take her to 497 kilometers an hour without WEP and 540 with. Now, these speeds are an indicated airspeed without Mach. Top speed in a dive 843 kilometers an hour before she redlines, and 915 before she rips apart. That is not the biggest window, and the average on planes is around 100 kilometers an hour between the red line and the rip speed. With this plane it's a little bit less, almost 30 kilometers an hour less, so 17 kilometers an hour. And with the acceleration of this plane in a dive, that is a very small window, so you gotta start pulling out of the dive once you hit the red line immediately. There is not much space and there is not much time to get out of that, because this plane accelerates very, very nicely, and you gotta pay that a lot of attention. There is control stiffening in this plane, especially in the aileron compression. 600 kilometers an hour, there's a small tick on the ailerons, 750 as well, but it's very small ticks, and the roll rate stays insanely good. This plane rolls better when she's fast compared to when she's slow, so the ideal moment for this plane in the roll rate lies somewhere above 400 kilometers an hour, and it ends somewhere at 800 kilometers an hour. That is its window. It has a large window when it comes to that, but there are a few ticks in the aileron compression in there. So she becomes a little bit less good in rolling from 400 to 800 kilometers an hour. But it's not much, as I said, so that's why I take this very wide window where she performs very nicely in the roll rate. This plane also turns actually quite well. Good turn rate without flaps and very good with flaps. So yeah, there is that as well when it comes to maneuverability. But yeah, the stall speed in the plane rises at around 120 kilometers an hour before she starts to fall out of the sky. The firepower in the plane is average. You have 6 12.7 Browning machine guns, M2s, with 2 of them, so one pair, the inner pair, with 400 rounds per gun, and the 2 outer pairs, those 4 have 270 rounds per gun. So that ammo for the outer 2 pairs are good, and for the inner pair it's excellent with 400 rounds. I used a convergence of 600 meters in this plane, and I used the tracer belt, which is full of APIT. You have 4 other belts. The default belt has an APIT as well. There's armor piercing incendiary tracer shell with 2 armor piercing shells and an incendiary shell. The universal has 2 APIs, which is armor piercing incendiary, 1 APIT and 2 incendiaries. The ground belt has APIT, incendiary, 2 APs and 2 APIs. Tracer, as I said, full of APITs. And the stealth belt is API, incendiary, API, incendiary. So all of these belts have a lot of incendiary in there. That's the whole point of the 50 cals almost, right? At least in game set fires. Most of your planes will die by fire, I would say, about maybe 55% or something. I just pulling this number out of my ass, but I mean, it rarely happens when you kill a plane outright on the first pass. Unless you're a little bit lucky with the aim, you get a pilot sniper or something. But 650 cals at this battle rating 6.3 is average firepower. 50 cals still do their job, but it's really nothing to write home about, man. I mean, most other planes have more heavy firepower than you do, so you keep that in mind. This plane can also be equipped with some ground attacking ordnance. You have bombs, 100 pounds, 250, 500 and 1000 pounds duo bombs on there. You have rockets, MH or HVARs, and you have a napalm load as well. So this plane can go for ground pounding, it can go into ground RB and be effective, and naval, as well as this plane, after she drops her ordnance, is an excellent fighter and can keep the skies clear of enemies. This plane is ideally suited for those modes as well, so very versatile when it comes to the modes, and also with the roles he can play in air RB. The performance in this plane is excellent. The acceleration in a straight line and in a dive is excellent. Energy retention in the horizontal and in the vertical is excellent as well. She keeps her speed very nicely in maneuvers, but she does, of course, in the end, like all planes, lose it. But she's quite good at holding energy even while maneuvering a little bit. But you will lose your speed after a couple of turns, that's for sure. And after that, as you become slower than 400 kilometers an hour, that maneuverability that she has starts to suffer a little bit. Climb rate in the plane is great. Absolutely a nice power to weight ratio when it comes to that. And she wants to go up there, man. She's a good climber. While most of the Mustangs are actually not and need to side climb. This plane also still needs a little bit of side climbing, but not as much. Turn time in the plane, as I said, is good, very good with flaps. Flaps rip off at around 670 kilometers an hour, which is quite nice. You can use the flaps for quite a bit. Be sure to realize that description of the quality of the turn time is between 400 and 800 kilometers an hour, and it does go worse a little bit in that phase as well, because you have those 2 compressions on the ailerons. On the elevator the plane doesn't compress at all, and at the high speeds you can easily pull out of dive, so there is no real elevator compression there. Roll rate, as I said, is also decent to good, and above 750 it starts to roll off center a little bit, a tiny bit. but it's not even half as pronounced as in the earlier Mustangs, where you had real problems after 550. So yeah, the pulling off center and rolling off center issue in this Mustang is pretty much solved. Overheating in this plane is very present, especially with web. It does need management, you need to keep an eye on that. The web is also finite on the thing. Ability for survival, so durability is good. It can take a hit or two, this plane, most definitely. Repair cost lies at 10,732 Silver Lions, which is average to decent. It's alright. There's planes that have a little bit better, there's planes that are worse. The rewards in the plane. The RP rewards have a 368% modifier with a 1.84 multiplier, and the Silver Lion rewards have the 416 modifier with a 2.6 multiplier. Now for the RP, that brings you to average, just about average for the rewards there, and for the Silver Lion rewards gives you very good rewards. So yeah, this plane is a Silver Lion earner, and with the performance that this plane has at the battle rating, you will be guaranteed to make a good profit on this plane. This plane is so good when it comes to performance, and with the Silver Lion booster giving you those kinds of rewards for the stuff you shoot down, it is absolutely amazing when it comes to rewards in the Silver Lion department. So yeah, you can take that home to the bank. Flight style wise, this plane is an energy fighter first, boom and zoomer second, and it can also close air support there. Now I would even say she can turn fight a little bit, because most of the energy fighters and boom and zoomers, when they are in their ideal window, will lose a turn fight with this plane. But it is not a dedicated turn fighter, of course, but she can definitely take it toe to toe with most of the stuff that's out there. I would say in her ideal window before the 2 ticks in compression, so between, let's say, 450 and 600 kilometers an hour, she can even go toe to toe with some of the Spitfires out there. And of course, the most dedicated turn fighters, you won't be able to do that, but Spitfire, most people would call that a dedicated turn fighter, although some of them are more energy fighting based anyway. But this plane can hold her own in a turn fights, let's say. So you could actually call this plane a jack of all trades that does everything quite well. And then with the weakest roll between hooks, or between reading marks, or however you call that, is the dog fighting roll. But energy fighting is excellent, boom and zooming is excellent, and turn fighting is very good in this plane at this battle rating. So this is an outstanding plane. When it comes to performance, I would say that for many people the 50 cals will be a downside, as you know, most people are subpar on aiming and stuff like that, and finishing, and it is absolutely something you have to be accurate with, the 50 cals at this battle rating. It is not an easy thing to use that, and of course people will still die, you will catch a fire here and there, but some people will not like that, and that might be a downside to the plane. There is precious little downsides to this plane, but most of the things are yeah, pros what this plane has to offer. And she's absolutely gorgeous as well, of course, with the Mustangs being just very nicely designed, very easy on the eyes, right? Alright, so the rewards for the 4-kill match that we showed in the beginning: Final Blow, Terror of the Sky, Bulletproof, 48,000 Silver Lions and 8,000 modification research points. I'll see you in the conclusion. Hey guys, so here we are after the match. The P-51H is a stunning plane, absolutely fantastic to fly, great performance. I love the control surfaces that were fixed and just take away the problem that has been plaguing the earlier P-51s, and even if it's you know, something that matches reality, it is quite annoying in game to have your guns being pulled off the target so many times and just costing you so many kills. But in the end, in this plane, it is solved, it is perfected. Very fast plane, Absolutely super fast plane. It is faster than the Bearcat, as I said, which was one of the, with web, right? With web. Without web, not on the deck, but on all other altitudes, she is faster, both with or without web, than the Bearcat, which was an insanely fast plane. This plane is very fast in a straight line. She holds her speed very nicely, both in a straight line and when you maneuver. She has a nice big window when that maneuverability is quite steady and solid, and it's just an excellent plane to fly. I cannot say anything else. The guns are a little bit of a downside when it comes to comparatively to other planes at the battle rating, but all in all, 650 cals work. You get a lot of fires, you get your results in this plane, that's for sure. Just flying around, you'll get 2-3 kills very quickly, and once you start to specialize a little bit in the plane, you'll go to 4 or 5 kills, and not on average, of course. Nobody does that every match, because you have other teammates to deal with who also get kills, and if you get a couple of competent teammates, it is difficult to kill half of the enemy team. Problems in this plane is definitely the spawn of the Ju-288 bombers at around this battle rating. It's 6.0, I believe, in the German tree. You basically always face them. You always have 4 of them against you, and if you have a 6-man match with 4 of those, it's not the most entertaining matches, although sometimes you meet a competent fighter pilot on the side of the map somewhere, and you can have interesting dogfights that way, uninterrupted by other people, because there is so little players in the match. So that's the only upside of 6 versus 6. For the rest, I prefer the 16 versus 16 or 12 versus 12. It's much more entertaining, much more happening, much more action in that way. But this plane is excellent. We cannot go around that. Whatever are the downsides of the battle rating matchmaker at this time at 6.0, 6.3, this plane is awesome to fly. It's a great performer, and I would definitely recommend you to fly this plane. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.